Okay, guys, so here we are in the Rover homepage, and I'm going to show you guys all the tips that you need in order to get more requests. So the first two tips are going to be super basic. So if you're here and you've been doing Rover for a little while, you maybe have had 1 gig or 2 gigs, you're like, oh my gosh, these tips are so basic. Like, I know, I know. Okay, we're going to do two basic tips before we get to the pro tips. So before we get to the pro tips, let's go ahead and just talk about the very basic tips. Now, if you're just watching this and you're thinking about starting with Rover, then tip number one for you is to sign up. Go ahead and sign up and get started. It literally costs you nothing. You have nothing to lose and nothing but dollars to gain. And all you need to get started is the internet on your phone and your email. So you'll need to pass a simple background check, and that doesn't cost you anything unless you want to get the more extensive background check. I personally don't think that there really is any value in doing that. But if you want to make sure that you have the highest chance of getting as many booking requests as possible, then go ahead and do that super thorough background check. Other than that, you're ready to go ahead and get started. So the next tip is just to go ahead and set up your profile in a way that is going to be, engaging with people who are looking for your services. Obviously, make sure that your profile picture is, professional. You're smiling, not using, filters from Instagram or Snapchat. And if you really want to go the extra mile, make sure that you have, a dog or a cat or some sort of animal in the picture with you, which is what Rover recommends. So those are just my two very basic tips for you. And we'll go ahead and get to the pro tips. So my first pro tip is to go ahead when you first get started and list your rates a little bit lower than average. And I know when I'm searching for something online and all the prices are really close to the same, but there's one that's just a little bit less and I like the description, I like what I'm seeing, I'm going to try it. And if I'm happy with it, I'm going to keep buying it even if the price goes up a little. So you want to go ahead and go a little bit lower than the average. And you can do the same thing with your dog sitting business. So list your rate $3 to $4 less per day than the average. And when you book a job, show them your worth, that extra money, as your pay scale slowly slides up. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would I list my rates lower and then slowly creep them up? Aren't they going to be upset that the price has changed? And I would say from my personal experience, no. I've always listed my rates a little bit lower and then I slowly slide them up, and no one's either ever noticed or really ever cared because of the quality of the service that they get from me. I've actually even had clients offer to give me more money than what I actually even listed my rates for when they come to pick their dog up, because if I was out of town or if I was, away on vacation or something, they had to use a different service, received a lower quality of service, and were extremely dissatisfied or not as satisfied as they were with me. So if you don't know what that means, to create that 5-star experience, you're thinking, well, I'm just watching a dog. Like, how do I give a 5-star experience when I'm just sitting, at someone's house, or someone's dog is over at my house, or I'm just walking someone's dog? Stay tuned to the end of this video and I will show you step by step how to create that 5-star experience. So first, let's go ahead and go into my profile so you can see what it looks like to where your rates are all set. So here at the top of the screen, I've got my profile listed here, and I'll go more into detail about the booking score and the repeat score. But as you can see, it goes from, I guess, 0 to 100, and mine are at 97.99, which is a huge contributing factor in being able to get more bookings. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and go to profile, and then I'm going to go to rates. So as you can see here, my rates are pretty low to get started. And something that I do is I actually offer specials to repeat customers. And that's not something that a customer can find out about until they actually use my service. So a lot of the time, this rate, what you see here, doesn't even matter. They don't even really care about what's there because they know if they continue to use me, they're going to continue to get discounts. And Rover doesn't have any sort of, system set up to where you can offer additional discounts. You can only modify the actual booking itself. So if you really want to, take control over your repeat customers, offer them a little bit of a discount. The discount that I offer is pretty steep, but as a result, I am the go-to person for these people whenever they need someone to dog sit for them, or cat sit for them, or just house sit. Sometimes people will ask you to sit at their house and there won't even be an animal there. They just need someone to sit there that they can trust. So keep that in mind, that these rates should be, fairly low compared to the average in your area by $3 to $4. So here, if you go to additional rates, you'll see that you have a holiday rate, additional dog rate, extended stay rate, puppy rate, cat care rate. And if you're in a big city or somewhere where you're like, these rates are like nothing. First of all, let me let you know that this is not my full-time job. This is just something that I do on the side. I recently started a business, and I do not rely on the income that I get from this to maintain my household. So it's not like I'm, relying on, $8 to, pay my bills or anything like that. So, and as you can see, additional rates are set for everything: drop-in visits, dog walking, doggy daycare, and also dog boarding. So, set up your rates the way that you feel comfortable. You don't want to just receive like $2 or $3 for a job, but just keep in mind that you do have quite a bit of control. And my next tip is going to be, ask for additional services. If someone's going to be away for 3 to 4 days and you're going to be staying at their house, ask for additional services before you book. Ask them, do you need someone to water your plants? Do you need someone to clean the house for you? Do you have anyone that's going to come, and mow your lawn, etc.? Ask them, what other services can I do for you while I'm at your house? And if they say, oh yeah, actually I could use somebody to, mow the lawn for me, or I could definitely use someone to, water the plants for me while I'm gone. Would you mind doing that? No, absolutely not. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and modify this request. And when I modify the request, I'm just going to add on an additional $10. Is that okay with you? Obviously, you want to ask first. You don't want to just be like, oh, you said you want me to, water your plants. So I'm going to go ahead and add an additional like $20 on. So always, ask, is there anything else I can do for you while you're gone? You want me to check your mail? Always get those kind of things in writing. Everything that happens in the messaging platform can be seen, by a Rover account specialist. So just make sure that you're not texting the person from your personal cell phone. And that's kind of like a side tip, because you want to make sure that everything is, referenceable. So let's go ahead and go on to the next tip. All right, guys, so tip number 2, and if you haven't liked this video yet, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. And if you have not yet subscribed and you like content in regards to side hustles and Rover and motherhood and veganism and parenting and sewing tutorials, all the things that I do, guys, go ahead and subscribe. You'll like the content, hit the bell notification. I've got so many more tips where this came from. Let's get back to it. Tip number 2. If you're going to be active on Rover, manage your calendar every single week. Every single week, you should have your calendar up to date. So here, all I did to get here was I hovered over my name, went straight to calendar, and here you can see, everything that's listed. You can't see my calendar because I blocked that off for privacy reasons, but it says here, confirm that your calendar is correct for the next 2 weeks. So all you'll need to do is look at your availability. Right now it's July. The 4th of July is coming up. I will not be available. So I have made myself unavailable for that day. And if you guys actually want to see a video on how to kind of make all these adjustments and like how to make yourself unavailable, how to make yourself, unavailable for certain services, like, maybe I can accept a dog at my house, overnight, but I definitely can't do any doggy daycare. I definitely can't, do any dog walking or any check-ins. Let me know in the comment section. I'll be more than glad to just make a video about like kind of how to navigate Rover, because it definitely is not the most user-friendly website. So yeah, make sure that your calendar is up to date, because if your calendar is up to date, you're going to appear in the first few results. If everything else is there, then you're going to get more bookings. So make sure that your calendar is always up to date. And like I said, to do that, just go to your calendar and hit confirm availability. It's going to ask you, is your calendar up to date for the next 2 weeks? Confirm my availability. That's as easy as that. We'll also tell you when it was last updated And then you can see here, dog boarding, house sitting, drop-in visits, doggy daycare, dog walking, everything that you need, it really is in the website. I've never needed to call Rover for anything in regards to like scheduling or making any adjustments. It's all right here. And I know personally, if I'm looking for something online and I get my results on the first page, I'm probably not going past the first page if the price that I want to see is right. So yeah, definitely keep your calendar up to date. And that is like the easiest way to put yourself in those top results. That, along with the very first tip, is going to get you way more requests. All right, guys, tip number 3. Everybody knows you're going to charge extra for the holidays. That's common sense. But how do I charge extra for the holidays and make sure that I get the best rate possible and the most request possible? So if you're a person that doesn't want to do any extra work on Thanksgiving or Christmas Eve or whatever, that's totally fine. I typically find myself being available because I'm a homebody and I have a new baby, so I really am not going out like that. So, if you find yourself available on the holidays, make sure that you're charging extra, but not too much extra. And I'll show you how I do this. So, say for instance, someone wants to book me for a house sitting gig. And you can see my normal rate for a house sitting gig is $28, and then my holiday rate is $26. I know you're thinking, like, Kendra, that is so low. I know, it's super low, but this is why. I don't update these rates until a holiday comes probably like a week and a half to 2 weeks up to the date. That's when most people start looking around. I've even had some people contact me the night before and say, hey, can you watch my dog or my cat real quick? I know this is last minute, and that is an opportunity to actually charge extras when people wait to the last minute because they're desperate. So, why do I wait until the last minute to update my rates? And I'll tell you why. If someone is looking online for a sitter and it is, the day before Christmas Eve, it's December 23rd, and they're looking for a sitter. They're going on there and they're seeing the rates are $50, $60. And then they come across me and they're like $26. Like, what the heck? And then they message me and they're like, hey, I'd love to have you sit my pet. I know it's the day before Christmas Eve. Are you available? Is your calendar up to date? I noticed that your rate was much lower than everybody else's. I'm going to respond if I'm available and say, absolutely, I'm available. I'd love to watch your dog or your cat or whatever. Let me just take a look at the information that you've requested and make sure everything looks good before I accept your request. So I'm going to look over the information, make sure everything looks good, obviously suggest a meet and greet. And then when I go to my rate, I'm going to see that it's $26. What I'm personally going to do next is I'm going to go and I'm going to say search for sitters. Then I'm going to type in my zip code, the drop off date, the drop pickup date, and I'm kind of just going to scroll down. Now, obviously, this is not Christmas, but then I'm going to see, okay, $30, $40 per night, $25 per night. I actually know this girl, I sit for her. $30, $25. So say for instance this was actually a holiday and everybody's charging about $50 a night. I'm looking in that whole area. I'm looking, within at least a 30-mile radius because people are really going to want to save money around the holidays and spend more money on presents and less money on having a dog sitter. I'm probably going to go about $3 less than the highest rate. So if the highest rate is about, $55, I'm going to charge $52. I'm going to go back up to my rates, click on profile, go to my rates, and then I'm going to come back here and look at my rates and see that I'm charging $26 and everybody else is charging $55. So I'm actually going to charge, maybe 52, maybe 51 if I'm feeling like generous, maybe $50. And I'm going to go back to that person and say, after reviewing the information that you provided, it looks like I actually need to make a modification. So it's actually going to be $50 per night. Now, most people you would think are going to get really upset by that, and I promise you they're not going to get upset. And why? Why are they not going to get upset that you just doubled the price on them? The reason why is because they've already done the research. They've already looked and saw that everybody's rates are $55, $65. It's a holiday. They're desperate. They need someone quick. So you've just doubled your price, but you're still lower than everybody else. So they're like, Awesome. Sounds good. It's still the lowest price I've been able to find. So that's one of the ways that I actually draw attention to my services, by initially offering the lowest rate and then actually still being the lowest rate. But by having the absolute lowest rate initially, that is going to guarantee that you get the job every time on the holidays. So tell me in the comments section, what do you guys think about that tip? Do you think it's scummy? Do you think that it's, misleading? Let me know in the comment section what you think about that. I would love to kind of get your guys' feedback. Do you think that it is, misleading to offer one price and then later offer a higher price but still be the lowest price? I would love to hear your feedback on that. This is just my method. You don't have to follow it, but if you're here watching this video, I hope that these tips are helping you. So let's go ahead and go on to the next tip. I hope you guys are hanging in there with me and excited about growing your business. Tip number 4 is your about me, your profile in general. I know that we're going backwards a little bit, but I want to touch on this in a very specific way so that you guys understand what is important to have in your about me. So I just had to touch on this a little bit. Think of this section like a dating website. You want people to be interested enough to keep reading. Tell them why you love animals so much. Tell them what special treatment you're willing to give their animals. And lastly, give them some peace of mind that their animal friend or animal family member is in capable hands. I'm looking into leaving my son with a sitter. You better believe that I want as much information as possible about somebody. So make it long, make it strong, make it about you, and of course, keep it honest. So as you can see mine here, I'm very adaptable and flexible. I know it's important for you to make your fur baby comfortable. Being in a new place with new people can be very disgruntling, so show that you're a human being and that you understand dogs' feelings and that you actually care about their feelings. You can give me a scroll of preferences and I will adapt. Your dog likes post belly tummy rubs counterclockwise. No worries. Again, put your personality in there. Show them that you can be fun and that, they're someone that your dog is going to enjoy being around. You want to receive pictures and be able to video chat with your pup? No problem. I am all about doing whatever makes you feel at ease. With more than 8 years of customer service, I guarantee your peace of mind. I grew up on a farm and I've been caring for four-legged friends for 10 years or more, and I will treat your fur family member as if they were my own. I look forward to being a regular part of your pet's life, making them homemade treats, sewing sweaters, and more. And these are all things that I actually do. So don't put anything in your profile that obviously is not honest, something that you're not willing to do. About me is one of the most important things that is going to get you a booking. So if your about me is really short and just says, I love animals, ask me if you have any questions, that's not going to cut it. And if you're not getting any requests, that's probably why. So make sure that it is, long and strong and honest. Okay, guys, so here's the next tip. I didn't plan on throwing this in here, but it is important, so I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. So having a lot of pictures is really, really important. I know that if you've ever been on Tinder, and if you didn't know, I met my husband on Tinder, and we have a video about that, and I will tag it in the top of this video and also in the description, a little shameless plug. If you've ever been on Tinder or any dating website where you're looking at someone's information, if there's only one picture or two pictures, it's kind of like, okay, I want some more. I need give me some more information. Like I need a little bit extra. So make sure you have a lot of pictures. The other thing that you need to know, aside from making sure that there are animals in your pictures, is that every picture you send to a client automatically gets updated on your profile. So these are pictures that I personally updated just from over the years with different animals. But this picture is actually a picture that I took today with Link. And obviously, Link again, Link again. We've been having a great time. Link and my son at the pond. So just keep in mind, don't upload any pictures to the client that you don't want on your profile because they will automatically be updated. So yeah, definitely take a lot of pictures, which is another tip. I would just call that tip number 5. Take as many pictures as possible and send them to the client because those pictures do end up on your profile. You don't have to go back and upload them later. But also there is an algorithm that actually shows the amount of pictures that you send to a client during a visit. And that actually really does contribute to, how you rank in the search engine. So definitely keep that in mind. let's go ahead and move on to tip number 6. All right, guys, tip number 6 to making your business explode and getting more requests. So as you can see here, my booking request is really high. My booking request is a 97 and my repeat score is a 99. So that means that out of all the requests that I get, I typically get the job, and out of the jobs that I get, I typically get repeat customers. So sometimes what people will do, which I find really frustrating, and if you're one of these people, stop it. Okay, so some people will actually send out a bunch of requests, like 5, 6 requests, and just see who responds first. Like it's like a freaking, feeding frenzy to see, who's going to get the job. And you won't know that. You'll just have received a request. But if you wait an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to respond, it's not going to be a good situation. So I highly, highly recommend that you don't wait any more than 15 minutes to respond. If you can wait less than that to respond, that's even better. And I know you're thinking like, I'm not constantly just like staring at my phone waiting to get response. I totally understand that 100%. However, what I would personally do is if you have a cell phone, you're going to want to turn on the notifications to where your notifications from Rover automatically go to your cell phone and you receive a text message. The second thing that I would do is go ahead and actually have a preset message in your clipboard that as soon as you get a message from a Rover customer, you just boom, copy, paste, send it in there, and it's done. That way, if there are one of those people who are just constantly sending out request after request after request to see who's going to respond, and then just end up taking the person with the lowest price anyway, then you're the first person to respond. And not a lot of people do that. So I'm not saying that everybody does that, but a lot of people do that. And it is really frustrating. So most people will just, find someone they like, send a request, wait for the response. And if it doesn't work out, they'll go on to the next person. That is a reasonable thing to do with Rover because they don't realize that it actually affects your booking score, which my booking score is 97 and that's great, but it actually could be higher. So what I would recommend is that you have a little message that says, "Thanks so much for reaching out to me. I would be more than glad to review this information. Give me about, 20, 25 minutes. Obviously, the time that you set can be, true to you and what your needs are, but give me about, 10 to 15 minutes to review the information and make sure that we're a good fit for one another. If so, I would love to set up a meet and greet and then we can move forward." Have that message ready in your phone, whether it's in your clipboard or maybe you save it to a little sticky note. There's tons of notepad apps, just have that message ready. So as soon as you receive a message, maybe you're driving. Obviously, you don't want to be texting and driving. You can like pull over, send that message, get it in there, and then go on with your day. And then as soon as you're available, you can go back, review the information, make sure that the dog is the right fit, and then book the request. That is going to get you so many more bookings and so many more booking requests when you actually take the initiative to respond to a message as soon as possible. Because typically, when someone is sending out requests, they are looking for something either immediately or they're trying to make plans immediately. And that's when they go to make sure that there's someone available for their children, for their dogs, like whatever the case may be. So, again, just make sure that you are sending messages as quickly as you can. All right, so that tip leads me to my next tip, number 7, which is set your dog preferences to what you can actually handle. And let me show you how. I know this isn't a how-to video, but this is very important because it affects your booking score. If you have your profile set up to where you accept giant dogs, knowing good and well that you can't handle giant dogs, and you're constantly rejecting requests, your booking score is going to go down, down, down. So what you're going to want to do is go to Pet Preferences. In Pet Preferences, you can see for dog boarding and doggy care. I have all dogs listed. I can handle it all. I'm good with it. I can take cats. I can take puppies. I will not be hosting dogs from different families at the same time. And the same thing for house sitting and drop-in visits. Make sure that you're accepting dogs that you can handle. And honestly, in the beginning, just so that you can kind of build up your credibility, take as many dogs as you can handle. Even if you think maybe you can't handle a giant dog, ask a friend or a family member, "Hey, can you help me with this dog? I'm trying to grow my business." If they love you and care about you, they'll do it. So make sure that you are taking as many different kinds of dogs as you can. One of the mistakes that I originally made and I couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting enough requests is because I wasn't maximizing the potential of dogs that I could take. So, yes, tip number 7 is very, very simple. Just make sure that your pet sitting preferences are set up accurately so that way you're not canceling, requests, which makes your booking score go down. And this isn't one of my tips, but this tip here is very, very important. If you offer more than one service on a given day, you may want to keep the numbers low. For example, if you have 2 spots for dog boarding and 2 for doggy daycare, you could get requests for up to 4 dogs at a time. What would life be like to have 4 gigantic 100+ pound dogs at a time? Make sure that you keep your request reasonable for what you can handle. Okay, so I told you guys that I would tell you about creating a 5-star experience because no matter how good your profile picture is, no matter how good your about me is, if you watch someone's dog and you do not provide a 5-star experience, they're not going to rebook with you. And your rebook clients are truly the bread and butter of this business. So here, I'm just going to read a little message. We just kind of been like chit chatting the whole day, which is really important when you're dog sitting. One of the messages that she sent me was, we're so incredibly grateful that we found you to pet sit. Hopefully, you'll pet sit for us again in the future. And I don't say this to gloat because that's a really weird thing to gloat about, but these are the kind of messages that you want to receive. And then, of course, my response to that was letting her know, it's my pleasure. She's the best dog I've ever sat because literally she is. I've taken her everywhere with me and she's always good. And I'd be glad to sit for you in the future. And I offer special half off discounts to reoccurring clients. These are the kinds of messages you want to get from your clients because you leave them absolutely satisfied and you know it because they told you. So when you leave a dog sitting gig, don't just lock the door, hug the dog and leave and never be heard of again. Make sure that you leave a lasting impression and ask for the business. Send them a picture of the dog before you leave. Send them a message saying something like, I had a great time. It was so much fun hanging out with Link. So well behaved. I really would love to sit for you in the future. If you ever need anything, please let me know. If you have any friends that, need a dog sitter from time to time, please feel free to mention me. I'm always trying to grow my business and I appreciate your support. Things that most people don't do that they should do is, look for opportunities to sit. If you know Christmas is coming up, Thanksgiving is coming up, or, Valentine's Day is coming up, maybe you know that your client is married, reach out to them and ask them a couple weeks before, hey, Valentine's Day is coming up. I'm solo dolo. Are you guys looking to have a special date night or are you going out for a couple of nights? Create friendships with the people that you're dog sitting for. That way you know their needs. And I'm not saying that you should like be texting them every day like, hey, how's the cat? How's the dog? But just have an interest in their life and that is going to have so much value. They're going to trust you. They're going to recommend you. There are so many clients that I've gotten from Rover clients that actually don't use Rover, and I choose not to use Rover, and I'm more than glad to do that because Rover takes a certain percentage of your pay, and so since they are referring me to clients who don't use Rover, that's something totally different. Just be involved in people's lives, be involved in your business, and I would love to make some additional videos for you guys on some how-tos. If you guys need more videos about Rover, maybe you want to know how to transfer the money to PayPal, how to set up auto pay, how to, change your settings, how to upload photos, whatever you guys are looking for from this business. Maybe you just want some more tips because I have a gang of more tips, guys. So let me know in the comment section. What do you guys want to hear from me? I'd be glad to make another video. So until next time, thank you for using the Natural Mama Method. See you guys later.